Hello friends, my name is Namasu. Today we shall discuss about a topic project constraint. Friend, today's topic is very interesting and very important with respect to project management, especially if you are a student of PMP and you are planning to give exam of PMP in near future. So this is a very interesting and important topic for you. So let's start. First of all, I would request to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell option as well so that my new videos can reach to you. So let's start, friend. What is project constraint? Friend, whenever we talk about constraint, basically we are talking about some limitation. Limitation means that the limits which you cannot cross actually. So that is the main concept of a constraint actually. So normally whenever we talk about constraint in a project management, very important or very common constraints are triple constraint. Triple constraint means time, cost, and resources, etc. So these are the normal constraints which are very common nowadays. But overall, there are mainly 6 constraints which we have to talk about today, which includes other constraint as well. So friend, basically remember one thing, that whenever we talk about constraint, basically we are talking about limitation which we cannot cross. For example, you have only 5 resources through which you have to complete the project. You cannot use more than 5 software developers, for example. So this is a constraint, this is a limitation. You have a project budget that you have to complete the project budget. You have to complete the project within with $5,000 cost, for example. You cannot spend more than $5,000. So this is a limitation. You must have to complete the project within 5 months. You cannot spend more than 5 months. So this is a limitation, this is a constraint. So whenever we talk about constraint, basically we are referring to a limitation which we cannot cross actually. So first of all, we one by one we shall discuss about. First thing is the quality. Quality means, friend, this is a very important constraint in a project. That means, friend, there is a constraint of quality that we must have to meet actually. We must have to achieve that quality. Now what is the concept of a quality with respect to the constraint actually? See, friend, if you are unable to meet a sudden rise in a cost, the project scope may shrink and the quality may be decline in that case. If the project scope extends due to scope creep, you may not have the time or resources to deliver the promised quality. If delivery time is cut or rushed, project cost may rise and quality will very likely to decline. Basically, friend, we are basically referring that whenever there is impact, there is a change in the time, cost. So obviously there is a impact on the quality as well. Like for example, if time is increasing, so obviously it will impact the quality as well. If time, for example, if cost is decreasing, for example, so obviously the quality will compromise actually. So basically, friend, remember, friend, one thing, that if there is any impact on the time or a cost, obviously the quality will compromise. Obviously there is an impact on the quality. Remember, for example, there was an agreed timeline of 5 months in which you have to complete the project. Now management or customer is saying that you must have to complete the project within 4 months. Now what happened actually, when we are decreasing the timeline, so obviously it will have an impact on the quality as well. So quality is a very important constraint. Then the next one is the time. Time means, friend, that there is always some specific time. We know that project is a unique thing, so we have always a time constraint in a project. Time constraint means that there is always a specific time period for a project in which we have to deliver the project to the customer. It cannot be a indefinite time or infinite time. We always have some specific timeline. For example, we have to deliver the project within 5 months. We cannot use the 6 month or 7 months. It's not possible. We must have to complete the project within 5 months. So time is a very important constraint. Then the cost. Cost means, in terms of when we talk about constraint, basically, friend, cost means the budget which we have to, within which we have to complete the project. For example, $5,000 budget is the $5,000 is the budget of your project. So you have to complete the project by using this budget. Obviously if you have more budget, so obviously you can hire more technical resources, you can have very good more resources, but there is a constraint of a cost in which through which you have to complete the project. You cannot spend more than the agreed or the project budget. This is not possible in the project management. Then the scope. The scope is obviously a scope. What actually a scope is? A scope means the boundary of the deliverables which you are going to deliver to the customer. Now actually what it is, it defines the boundary. The boundary means, for example, there are 5 modules as per the agreed scope document with the customer. You have to deliver 5 modules to the customer. Now this is the scope of your project, and this is the limitation of a project. What does that mean actually by limitation? You know, for example, if you add one more module in a project, so maybe it will improve the quality, but it will impact the cost actually. So there is a limitation, there is always a limitation of a project, and you must have to achieve with respect to the scope. Scope is also a very important constraint. Then the risk. Now what is actually risk? Risk is the uncertain condition of a project which may impact a project in terms of positively or negatively as well. If it positively impact, it will become an opportunity for you. If it negatively impact, it will become an issue for you. So now what is the relationship of risk with a project? Actually risk means that, for example, friend, if a vendor not provide the delivery on time, so obviously this is a limitation. What if we lose any number of resources due to illness or transfer? What if the market takes a huge swing? What if our competitor launches a similar product at the same time at which we are launching? So risk is also a very important risk of a constraint as well. Okay. Then the last constraint is the resources. Resources means, friend, that for example, resources include hardware resources, software resources, human resources. So all these are the resources which you have. There is a limitation at which whenever we talk about using of that, we cannot use as per the assigned resources. For example, as per the assigned resources, you can only use 5 software engineers for your project. For example, you can only purchase only 2 hardware servers for your project, for example. So resources means the resources, hardware, software, human resources. It will include all those things, and there is always a limitation of using the resources. We cannot use more resources as per the agreed resources. There is always a limitation on the resources. So friend, thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and thanks a lot for watching the video. Thank you, friends.